So let's start with the steering shaft. Steering shaft doesn't have more than 2 inches of play. It's not bent or missing any parts. Secure on both ends with the U-joints. The U-joints are properly greased and they are not missing any parts. Then this is my power steering gearbox, which is securely mounted to the frame with nuts and bolts, and there's no missing parts or any leaks or any excessive rush that'll leak out my fluid. Then you mention your pivot arm, drag link, steering knuckle, tie rods. They're not bent, cracked, illegally welded, missing any parts, all secured with its castle nuts and cotter keys on each end. My bushings are rubber, they're not dry rotted, and they're properly greased, and my steering system is not loose. After that, you got tires, depth tread, the conditions, and the PSI. Let's start with the depth tread. My depth tread on my front tire, the depth tread on my steering tires are 4/32. All other tires are 2/32. To check that, I'll use a depth tread gauge. The tire is evenly worn and it doesn't have any recaps. The tire itself is not ripped, cut, have any bulges in the inside or on the outside. The PSI, I'll check it through the valve stem, and also I want to make sure it has a cap. And if I was to check the PSI, I'll use a pressure gauge in the valve stem and make sure it's 100 PSI and 90 in the back. My rim securely mounted around the tire, doesn't have any bends, cracks, or any illegal welds, and also there's no gap between. And then after you mention your rim, you're going to move on to your lug nuts. My lug nuts are all present. They don't have any shiny metal or rust around it to indicate that they are loose. And these are the studs, which the studs are not broken. Then after that, that's where you're going to move on and mention your spring, mounts, airbags, shocks, and we're going to start with the leaf spring. My leaf spring pack is not shifted, missing, or cracked. It's secured to the front mount. Remember, if you forget, you could call it hanger. The front mount and to the rear mount, and those are secured to the frame with no missing nuts or bolts or any illegal welds. My shock is secured to the frame, secured to the axle with no missing nuts or bolts, and I don't see it leaking or it being bent. These over here are my U-bolts, which are secure on the axle. They're not bent, wobbly, or missing any parts. After that, that's where you're going to move on and mention your brake line, hoses, or leaks, which this is your brake hose and this is the ABS line. So you'll say my brake hose and my ABS line are not rip, cut, or frayed. The brake hose is not leaking any air and it's secure with a coupling and a fitting on both sides. Then brake contaminants. My brake drum is not color blue, indicating overheated. My brake shoe is no less than 1/4 of an inch. There's no gap in between or any oil or any grease. After you mention that, you move on to mentioning your side of the vehicle lenses and reflectors.